What's up, guys? How are we this evening? It's Sunday. Sunday. I know A, Sass is dying, coughing up a lung in the bathroom, but B, no, I'm just kidding. She's fine. We both have some sinus shit going on. But B, I don't know what I was going to say now. Guess it doesn't matter. So we've been on the road today. Man, y'all, in case you haven't heard me say this already, it's gonna be such a nasty fucking summer. All the way down to Louisiana. Well, we're still in Louisiana, but all the way down to New Orleans, everything is super green. Flowers are already blooming. I mean, it is March, but it's early March. Like, now this stuff should be just starting to bloom. I'm just saying. Did you just knock on the door? All right, then. Yeah. Well, it's been a long day. We've been traveling all day. It's been energetically a weird day. Anybody else have the weird day going on? Just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Yeah. I know that we had an event last night, so Sass and I both got a little sick, not feeling that great. So I canceled my event last night, and I told Miss Mary that I would get with her when I come back down to New Orleans. Yeah. I don't know if it was just the crazy weather up and down sinus shit or what was going on, but y'all are super drained as well. Yeah, I was planning to do a little bit of Reiki, but I'll make sure I get you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be back home in my house at my desk with all my things and stuff, and yeah, y'all are tired too. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, we're drained as fuck. We were gonna try to drive a little further today. No. Everybody's really tired. Under the weather, very drained. Tired this weekend. Oh, goodness sakes. It has been a weird weekend, George. Hello, right back. And I've been trying to get everything downloaded and uploaded for you guys. They were having problems with the internet at the hotel we were at almost all week. So I got a few things uploaded to the YouTube. Yeah. But we're going to do some shadow work reads. I also got a new deck when I was in New Orleans because, I mean, it's not like I don't have decks at my shop, but I didn't have this deck at my shop. So, you guys ready? So, Miss Norma, you are first. If you guys want to get on my list for tonight, you can do so on my profile link. Oh my gosh, 17 months, Tosh. 17 months. Damn. All right. Miss Norma. You must have a lot going on. All right. So the very first card that you have is the Martyr card. If you guys have never watched me do shadow work reads, this is to tell you kind of what's going on right now. What's happening, what's going on. First of all, you have the Martyr card. Second of all, you have the King Arthur card. Oh, and third, you have the Abaddon card. That's a wide range of things. So we go from having this martyr aspect. Oh, thank you, Patrice, for 13 months. Gotta love the number 13. So the martyr is someone that continually puts themselves first. They are the one that throws himself on the grenade for everyone else. And this can become a really toxic environment. So one of the first things you need to work on with shadow work right now is figuring out why you feel the need to be the martyr. And we choose to be the martyr in our relationships, or we choose to have boundaries. So Miss Norma, I would make sure that you look at why you feel the need to always be the martyr or allow other people to make you the martyr. The second one is interesting because this is the Arthur card. This is all about self-realization. Thank you, Miss Morgan, for 11 whole months, and thank you guys for already meeting half that goal. Wow. This is the self-realization. Now, I will say this. This is not a super bad thing with shadow work, self-realization, but be careful that you don't slip too far into it. You know what I mean? When we slip too far into this self-realization, we get super disconnected from the rest of the world. There's a happy medium, but sometimes it's hard to hit, especially when you're on a spiritual path. Like, it's really hard to hit. It's really hard to hit. This one, however, this one is interesting. Now, if it was just this card and the Arthur card, I'd say, woo, you have like some anger going on. But the fact that that martyr card is first, having that self-realization, and then Abaddon, the main thing that you need to look at right now with shadow work is this. This is not you. The Abaddon card is like pestilence and malice and just somebody that's just being a shit to everyone else, okay? So when this card pops up in a reading, I got to look at everything around it. This is you catering to people that have this type of energy, that have this overbearing, malicious energy. There's something in your past, whether it's parents, friends, you know, whatever, that you feel the need to do everything you can to make this person feel better, to make them feel right, to make whatever it is. You cater to the people that have this type of overbearing, malicious energy. With that self-realization, you absolutely need to look at why you feel like you have to be the martyr for them, because people that have this kind of energy, people that this is how they are, they're never ever going to change. I know people are like, well, everybody can change. But can they? I'm just saying, they're not going to change right now. You need to take care of Norma, okay? I pulled 2 new cards from my new deck, and we're going to look at what they are, because this is why you need to look at this aspect of shadow work. Like why Norma feels the need to jump on the grenade for malicious ass people, or why you feel the need to cater to people that are very malicious and hateful towards you. A lot of times people that tend to put themselves in the martyr position, it's because they were raised to be the martyr. So I saw you say that this was your mother, or you felt like this was your mother. So you were raised to put yourself in that position. But people that feel the need to be the martyr also are usually, they're people pleasers, and they're very empathic. So when you're empathic and you pick up on everybody else's energy and emotions and so on, you would much rather everybody be happy because you're going to feel that. And yeah. So here's why, and apparently 2 cards pulled out. This is my new deck. Oh, there's 3. Okay. The first one is Blessed Day. So in other words, you need to look at this, why you feel like you need to be the martyr for these people. So you can make sure that you are okay on a daily basis. The butterfly represents transformation. So if you can't transform into who you need to be, you can't ever hit that awesome, this is a good day feeling. I know you guys are like, people have that feeling. People have that feeling a lot. Ready for this one? Banish a curse. Now that one's an interesting card, especially with what we just talked about with someone who has a very malicious, very hateful energy. banishing that generational curse, that is the hallmark of shadow work. Part of what shadow work does is help us to oh, said don't forget to like and share Hody on.
I'm throwing my case on the phone.
I'm like, what the fuck is Hody? Who's Hody? That might be my alter ego, Hody.
I mean, that bitch is in there somewhere.
Okay, we're gonna not talk about. We're gonna get off of that now, Miss Norma. So a lot of times when the main part of shadow work is when we need to break a generational curse, a generational habit, such as alcoholism, mental abuse, etc. You ready for the last one? Resilience. Apparently you need to gain your own resilience back, Miss Norma. You have a lot of things going on. This is a lot. 3 and 3. To have 3 cards that pulled over here as to why you need to work on this shadow work, especially with the banished. Come on now. That's a lot. That's a lot. But then to have these 3 over here, these are all 3 really powerful cards. One of the first things that I would recommend, especially with that break the curse card, look at why you feel the need to befriend and cater to people with this kind of energy, the Abaddon type energy. Is it because you always sought approval from your mother, from the person that was like this when you were younger? Is it because you had to learn to appease that energy when you were younger, so now you appease it now? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, really delve deep into just that one aspect. Just start with that one aspect of why you feel the need to be the martyr for that specific energy, okay? Just start there. Don't try to overwhelm yourself with, well, I need to do. Just start at one place, okay? I guarantee you it will absolutely lead you down another rabbit hole. Another rabbit hole. So yeah. Did that make sense, Miss Norma? Good. Good. Miss Kathy Mazel is next. You went snowboarding for your birthday. That sounds like way too much fun. That sounds like way too much fun. Thank you, Miss Norma. So, there you go. If you have one that you didn't get, will you please message the site? So that way I can either find out where it is videoed for you or get your money back to you. Yeah, please message the site. Unfortunately, we have people that come on and they'll say, hey, I paid for something I didn't get. So we have to make sure that you are who you say you are. But I got you, Stephanie. All right. So, guys, I do want to reiterate like one thing that comes with shadow work. Don't try to push yourself to do too much shadow work at one time. You know what I mean? Because when you're delving down something, especially when it comes to why you feel the need to please other people or why you feel the need to cater to a specific energy or whatever, that's going to open up a lot of rabbit holes. It's going to open up a lot of doors, and it's going to open up a lot of things that you're like, I am not ready to go down there yet, or there either. Just focus on the why of your question now. You know, like, why do I feel the need to continue to please malicious people? You see what I'm saying? Why does this bother me now. Just focus on that one thing. Unpack that one thing, okay? And then unpack other things. Be easy with yourself when you're doing shadow work. And don't try to do shadow work every single day, because you will break yourself, okay? You will break yourself. All right, Miss Kathy, are we ready? You apparently need 2 and 2 instead of 3 and 3. So you have Danu, which is the mother of creation. This is ferocity, reconciliation, creativity. You can't make this shit up. You also have self-realization. These ones over here decided that they were going to just turn themselves wide, just right up. So first you have equilibrium, which is balance. If your equilibrium is off, you aren't balanced. And then you have good luck, which I love this card. I love all the symbolism in this card. I love you right back. Thank you, Alicia. So, Miss Kathy, what this tells me right here with the motherhood card and the self-realization card is that there is something really intense that has hit you hardcore lately. With this self-realization card, I would guess that it's something you've been pushing down for a very, very long time. And in pushing that feeling down, pushing these, I don't want to say thoughts, because it's like when we have an epiphany about something that has been the same for so long, it's almost like at first we feel stupid because we're like, why didn't I see that? Like, it's right in my face. How did I not see that? And then we get angry because we feel like we let ourselves be stupid for too long. We go through this gamut of emotions with it. So the thing that catches me the most with the Danu card, especially with the self-realization and the gone, is that ferocity. So what is it about this self-realization that you recently had that is feeding into this anger, that is making you, that has this intense anger deep inside of here that is threatening to go up, 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 up until it comes out? I'm going to say this. There's a healthy way to let out the anger and the ferocity without it causing problems with home life, with husband, with kids, with work, with any of that. There's a healthy way to let that anger out. Everybody's different. I usually need to do something very mundane, or I need to create something like artwork or a handmade piece or something like that. I need to do something. Other people need to just go for a walk, or they need to go scream in their pillow, or they need to play video games, or whatever it is. But there is something that you need to work on as far as why this anger has pulled up at this specific self-realization that has popped up lately. Part of me wishes that I could tell you a little more about this self-realization, and I could pull some more cards, but the thing is, like I explained the other day, ooh, I love that when I have the weird eye thing. Like I explained the other day, if it was for me to tell you, it would have popped up. But you need to deal with this anger. Because it is throwing your equilibrium off. When it throws your equilibrium off, that anger ends up getting pushed down again. So it just continues to get pushed down until it festers, and then it eats into everything. Right now, it's at the top. Right now, it's at the top, and you can deal with it in a healthy way. Do so that way you can gain your equilibrium back, because, I mean, this right here, this right here the good luck aspect of this, use that anger to your advantage. You know what I mean?
What the? No, we don't.
So, because I just had to stop my read to kind of look up and deal with some stuff, let me say this. All of these are recorded. I will get them on YouTube. It might take me a couple of days. My list changes constantly, so my list also fills up very quickly. I can tell you right now that chances are, if you're not on it already, you better get there ASAP, because there's only like a couple of places left. If you miss yours, that's fine. It's recorded. But yeah. My mods are really, really good at answering. My mods are really good at ensuring everybody has all of the information that they need. So yeah. Oh, that's great. Like, this is leaking out the bottom, I guess. I don't know.
Oh no, I need to come get it.
No, I think it's okay. I don't know what the fuck that was. Wait, don't take it away.
Refrigerator, freezer. Why don't we do that?
I just didn't know if the cup itself was leaking. You know what I mean?
That's okay. We're gonna put it in freezer.
So before we came up to get on this live, my sugar started doing that. And yeah. So we went downstairs and they have like, I don't know if it's ice cream or gelato, but it's fucking fantastic, whatever it is. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, my nose is itching. Somebody's talking about me. Miss Kathy, get to the bottom of this anger, because it is throwing your equilibrium off. And it's, lately you feel like you, it's almost like you feel like your good luck isn't as good. Does that make sense? So your equilibrium is off. Find out what it is with this latest self-realization to see why it's pulling anger up. Okay? And I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry. I don't want to say it this way, but it's the only way I can say it. It is part of it as we go through anything with our spiritual path. We have multiple self-realizations that smack us right in the fucking forehead. I knew that was coming. We have multiple self-realizations that smack us in the fucking forehead. And it's easy to get angry at ourselves because we're like, how did I not fucking see that? We all go through it multiple times. Just saying.
Okay,
All right.
We're out of these.
Okay.
You want to split one?
No, I want you to take the last of them.
You do?
Well, didn't you just take one before we got here?
Uh,
Didn't you just take them before we got here?
that was well over 4 hours ago. Halfway here.
You took them
Yeah.
halfway here? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm watching time.
I
I ain't overdosing on Tylenol, cold sadness.
didn't say you were. I said want to make your tummy sickly. Cause I know those will upset your tummy.
Yeah.
Miss Abigail, you are next.
Yeah, they will upset your tummy.
Yeah, they will. I don't know what the hell they thought they were doing, putting that cool coating on. No, ma'am. That thing, those hurt my tummy every fucking time. Hey. All right, you ready? You have Charon the Ferryman, which is necessity and transition and focus. Then you have the Eternal Servitor, which is hope and yearning and incompleteness. Oh, and then you have the Queen of Shadows, which is wrath and instability and suspicion. That's a lot of emotions. Abigail, that's a lot. That's a lot of emotions. You have wrath and instability and suspicion. You have hope and yearning and incompleteness. And you have transition and need. This is a lot of movement and a lot of like boom, 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 boom. So here's what I'm going to say about this, because this is a lot. Like, this is a lot. Whew. I'm going to say the best thing for you to do is to step back from everything for just a minute. Because this is so much. This is 3 different directions that you've been pulled in. If you try to follow each one of these down a rabbit hole, you're not going to accomplish anything. I am going to say this. Anger is the easiest one to deal with. So is yawning. Anger is the easiest thing to deal with in shadow work, and here's why. It's one of those 3 base emotions that we first learn of when we're kids. Happy, sad, angry. Everybody understands what angry feels like. This is where I would start. Make a list, just a couple of things. Don't fall down the rabbit hole with all of this, but just a couple of things. What is it that makes you the most angry right now? With you, with your immediate life, not with the world, because we could all make like such a long fucking list about what makes us angry in the world. So let's not worry about anything outside of you, okay? What are the top things that are making you angry, either about yourself, about your family? Like, what are the top 3 things that are making you angry? And I'll just make yourself a list. And start with one. Start with one. The one that you list that makes you the most angry. Man, yawning a lot. It's been a long day. And start with, why does that make me angry? Why does that make me angry? And if you need to make a list of why it makes you angry, make a list. But you should immediately have an answer. Well, it makes me angry because this is a trauma response because of XYZ. It makes me angry because it makes me feel invalued. It makes me angry because it obliterates any boundary I put up. Do you see what I'm saying? So anger is going to be the easiest one to deal with. Anger is the one that always hides everything else underneath. That hides everything else underneath. Once you work through the anger, that's like the festering thing on the top. So once you work through the anger, then you can start working through the why do I feel incomplete and why do I feel like I'm always in transition. You have to step back, otherwise it's going to get too overwhelming too quick. I'm fine. My sugar was going down a little bit while ago and I may have ate ice cream, but I'm fine. But I have to use this phone because it has the better, I don't know why, this one is newer, but this one has the better connectivity as far as, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. You would think newer would be faster, connect better. No, it doesn't. So here's the reason why you need to focus on this shadow work. Well, that is the confidence card. That is self-explanatory. I mean, that's self-explanatory. And this one is intuition. Okay. I love that both of these are insects. While confidence is self-explanatory, looking at why this makes you angry, why these things are bothering you shadow work wise, having too much that builds up in our shadow destroys your self-confidence. And I'm just going to say this. Everybody goes through this time multiple times in their path where shadow work piles up, and then suddenly we realize we're either jealous of everybody else, or we're angry at everybody else, or whatever it is, and it starts to erode our self-confidence. This is what happens when you start to level up a lot. You'll go through these phases. But the other side effect is this: when you have a lot of things that pile up shadow work wise, especially if it's being coded in anger over the top, it's going to make it to where your intuition is almost non-existent, to where you're going to feel like you yawn all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Where you're going to feel like you can't connect to your intuition. Anger will cover up both of those things, your confidence and your intuition. Just saying. Everybody's tired and anxious lately, so don't think there's something wrong with you. Everybody is tired and anxious lately. I think some of it is the weather is insane. The weather has lost its ever-loving mind. And the sun also has lost its ever-loving mind. So everybody is cranky. Everybody is short. Everybody is irritated. Just don't feel like you're by yourself there. Okay? Myself included. I may have yelled a lot in the car today. Maybe not yelled, but I may have said a lot of choice things in the car today. Just saying what I'm saying. You were sleeping all day today. Well, I'm a little jealous of that, Angela. I'm just saying, I'm a little jealous of that. So thanks for rubbing that in there, woman. You are so welcome, Miss Abby, honey. All right. Miss Monica R., you are next. I did not go live last night. For those of you guys just joining, I wasn't feeling good yesterday. Sass and I both kind of were knocked down a little bit, and it was not going to be a good idea to walk into a place like that with my energy in the dirt. You know what I mean? Plus, my tummy was extremely unhappy, and I didn't really want to deal with that on a live in a haunted location. I'm just saying what I'm saying because I lived in a house full of boys for the longest time. So whenever I was in the bathroom, they felt the need to bang on the door, to kick the door, to slide things under the door. Did I mention to bang on the door, to bang on the walls, you know, things like that. So I get instantly angry, like it's an instant response when I'm in the bathroom and somebody comes in and bangs on the door. So, you know, if I were at some haunted location and that thing kept going off and somebody would bang on the door while I'm in the bathroom, I'm going to yell. I'm just saying. Yes, I'm going to work it out with Miss Mary to come back by. She was super gracious and super understanding, and I really, really appreciate it. Like, she was very, very kind about it. And I really appreciated it because my energetic butt was in the dirt. Yeah, my energetic butt was in the dirt. So was Sass's. We were in bed. We were in bed about 9 o'clock, yeah. And I think I was asleep around 9:30. Like we were that level. All right, Miss Monica, you ready? So, the first one you have is the caretaker of the lost. And then you have the matriarch, which is rejection. So I find that interesting. I find that really interesting. So you have the caretaker of the lost and the matriarch, which is all about rejection and consequences. This is some really deep-seated shadow work right here, Miss Monica. Let's talk about this one first. Well, actually, let's talk about them both because it represents a cycle. Something has you in a cycle right now where you feel like You are the Isle of Misfit Toys. Like, you are where all of the misfit toys go. You are the one that takes care of them. You try to fix them. You try to help them. You try to do whatever it is you can. And you always suffer the consequences for it. Now, I'm not saying that fixing the misfit toys is not a noble thing to do, but the problem is these aren't really just misfit toys. The vast majority of them are the way they are because they want to be the way they are. They know and they have learned that people will take care of them, whether it's their family, whether it's a new friend, whether it's a new lover, whatever it is, they will take care of them. They learn which people will and won't take their bullshit. So you deal with the consequences of all of that. The problem comes when you start doing this, not just with family and friends and relationships, but at work and friends of friends and social media friends. And you get to a point where your energy is so spread super thin and wound super tight at the same time that if someone were to barely pluck a strand of it, it would probably snap and all come loose. So you have to be really, really careful with this way of thinking. So one of the things that I'm going to say is this, especially when it comes to being that caretaker of the lost. Why is it you feel the need to be the caretaker of the lost? Why is it you feel the need to help everyone, to fix everyone? There's something to be said for helping someone when they are ready to A, be helped, and B, help themselves. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about because we have all either had that friend or seen that friend or whatever that will lay on someone's couch for months and take complete advantage of them. And there's always going to be someone that wants to fix that person. Well, I think I can help them. I think I can help them. But until that person is ready to not live on the couch anymore, ready to actually get their life in order, nobody can actually help them do what they should do. Does that make sense? Don't be that enabler, that energetic enabler for that person. So what is it that makes you feel like you need to protect and help and fix all of the lost peoples? Ready for this? This is the concealment card. Interesting. I love the headdress on this. What is it that is being concealed? What is it that you're concealing by focusing on everybody else? A lot of times people that hate my alarm like I do, a lot of times people that conceal a lot of these aspects with, let me fix you. Let me fix you. Let me fix you, are concealing something inside trust me, okay? I spent a very long time trying to conceal the broken parts of me and instead try to fix other people, try to fix severely broken people that there was no way I could even scratch the surface of trying to help that person. The other thing is this, and this is the Banish a Curse card. Thank you, KP. I think that said 14 months, didn't it? Holy shit. Holy shnikey. This is the Banish a Curse card. So that tells me that this is a learned behavior. It's something that you learned from your mom, from your dad, from somewhere. It's something you learned and was programmed with as a kid. So I would go back, I would follow this need to fix people. I would follow it back to when you were a kid and look at when that started, because this right here tells me it's a cycle. It's something that's been going on for a very long time. But this one here tells me that you're using these other people as a way to conceal a hurt that's in here. Does that make sense? Oh, Jessica, thank you for coming in and pushing me up in the For You page. I really, really appreciate it. I absolutely will have to inbox you later. Yeah, I'll have to inbox you later for my accurate reading. Love. Yeah, I would start working backwards. There are some amazing beginner shadow work prompts. I will try to get some posted on my website by Wednesday, so that way I can tell you guys that they're there on Thursday. There are some amazing beginner shadow work prompts that can help you work backwards through that to see why you feel the need to fix people, because that is, I don't know if this will make you feel better or worse. That is one of the most common issues, is the need to fix people or the need to please people. So, yeah. But with that concealment card and with that banish a curse card, that tells me that it's something that's been a cycle for a long time. So yeah. All right. Aaron Scott, you ready? I'm proud of you for that, Miss Monica. Yes, I know that's an issue I have and I don't want to do anymore. I'm proud of you for that, especially like both parts of that sentence, that you recognize it's a thing and that you don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they might realize that they do it, but they're not ready to stop because they need to feel needed, and that's why they do it. It's like those people that purposely like handicap their kids as an adult, so they always have someone that depends on them. Does that make sense? They enable their kid to do whatever that kid wants to do, so the kid doesn't have to get a job or leave the house, because then they have someone that depends on them. They know they're doing it. They know they're doing it. And if it was somebody else doing it to their kid, they'd be livid. You see what I'm saying? They're not ready to stop that. But you are to the point where you're like, look, I know this happens and I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm done. So the first step is admitting you have a problem. Is that right? Sorry. I wasn't trying to be funny, but I had to try to be funny there because it's a serious topic. You know what I mean? It's a serious topic. And I'm glad I could help a little bit, Miss Monica. All right, Erin, you ready? Oh my God. Let me drink some water. Let me drink some water.
Totally inappropriate question.
Hmm?
And I can't get a screenshot. Totally inappropriate.
I guess I didn't see it. Hey, Lady J. Yes and no. So for those of you guys that are new to watching me, I'm diabetic, and that is my diabetic alarm. But it's high, not low, and when it goes off when it's high, that just means that it's above like 180. So not crazy high, not great, not crazy high. So yeah, I keep a very tight rein on it. The monitor that I have right there, I'm allowed to, well, not I'm allowed, but I can set the high or the low that I have. I don't need 5 cards for Erin. I can set the high or the low that I have. It has an automatic setting on both ends that I can't change, but it's super low and super high, right? So I keep a very tight rein on mine. Yeah. But it was crashing a while ago before the live, and I knew I needed to get food in my face. So we walked downstairs and I got some ice cream, because if I have to eat some candy, then I want what I want. And that shit was so good. It's so good. Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good. I'm just saying what I'm saying. All right. Here we go, Aaron. You can't, what in the goddamn fuck? Okay. So, for those of you guys that have seen me read before, and we start laughing when a certain card comes up repeatedly, I was going to talk to Camille about this the other day. We were going to walk around the quarter and chit chat and talk, and we did chit chat and talk, but it was also raining, so we couldn't really do it very much. But I always find it interesting when a certain card keeps popping up. The very first card you have is also the Caretaker of the Lost. And y'all saw me shuffle. And then you have Self-Realization. Again, y'all saw me shuffle. You can't make this fucking shit up. And then you have the Universal Servitor, which is Hope and Yearning and Incompleteness. Words are not my friend. Yeah, incompleteness. My brain is not my friend either, so there's that. My brain and I are about to be fighting. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to fight it right in his face. Get it? Boom. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So, I love it when my sugar's high, because then I think I'm funny. All right. Aaron, this is a lot. The Caretaker of the Lost, with this Self-Realization at the same time, you know you're doing it. You know you're doing it. And kind of like Monica, you know you're doing it. I don't know if you have hit the I don't want to do this anymore because of this card. There is some aspect of the Caretaker of the Lost card that you need that. Something in you makes you need and crave. I don't think it's so much taking care of broken people, but catering to broken people. Catering to people that are lost, that need help, that maybe they will never be able or ready to get help in their lifetime. This card right here, this yearning and incompleteness, in my professional opinion, just because of how these go right here, I would say that there is a hole there. There is something that you are missing. And so you are using this taking care of lost people, taking care of broken people. You are using that to fill that hole. So before I ever turn these other cards over, I would say that's the first thing you need to start with, is figuring out what that hole is. And chances are when I said that, you already know. I'm just going to use myself as an example. Like that thing going through my fucking brain. So when I lost my mom, you get that hole. If any of you have lost a parent, especially if you have lost a mom, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter your relationship with your mom. You lost the woman that gave birth to you. There's a hole. If you have a good relationship with your mom, that hole is even bigger. Because I have way too many Capricorn placements, my natural reaction is to throw myself into work. Anytime something happens and whatever, throw myself into work. Relationship goes away, throw myself into work. I'm stressed out, throw myself into work. Lose a parent, throw myself into work, even worse. Do you see what I'm saying? What is it that made this hole that's making you throw yourself at fixing the lost? Does that make sense? We all get a hole from some type of loss or some type of issue. So that is going to be the easiest place to start with, is to figure out what this hole is and why it's there. What and why are two separate things. You might know Why is because I lost my mom. But what is the whole? What is missing because you lost your mom? And there may be more than one whole. Just like I may have more than one horn with my fucking bangs up there. All right. This is why. Balanced emotions. Loves me some jellyfish. That does look like an eyeball. Balanced emotions. Like that's also self-explanatory when dealing with all of this, especially with that hole that's there. The next thing is this, equilibrium, which really reiterates this. Equilibrium is balance. If, like I said, if your equilibrium is off in your ears, then you're kind of all fucked up. Balance. In other words, this right here, this hole, is keeping you out of balance. It sounds like a lot. It really does. It sounds like a lot. But like I said with Miss Abigail, just start with what the hole is. Why is the hole there? And there may be a ton of aspects to that hole. The why may be, okay, I lost my mom. But there may be a lot of aspects to that hole. You see what I'm saying? Start there. Okay? Just start there and unpack from that. Because if you try to start with why you feel the need to take care of all these lost people, you're going to come A, right back to this. But B, if you try to work on all of these at the same time, it's too much. It's too much. Start simple and you'll get through it easier. Maybe not faster, but easier, okay? I hope that made sense, Aaron, honey. Miss Nancy Smith, you are next. My nose itches. Someone's thinking about me. Hopefully in a good way and not, I'm so sorry that a lot of you guys felt super drained and so on. This has been a weird weekend with the weather up and down. I literally would just like a couple cards for Miss Nancy. We don't need like 9. Thank you guys for all of the goodies. I appreciate it. Oh, okay. Once again, I don't need 50 bazillion cards for our Miss Nancy, okay? Okay. Snowing up there again. Thank you, Miss Leanne. Well, okay. This is absolutely something pulling you both ways. You start off with Hades, which is the Lord of Riches, which is inevitability, equality. Then on the other side, you have Danu, which is...
My goodness.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Which is motherhood and ferocity. So let's talk about these two. What's interesting about this is these are two very powerful deities, one divine masculine, one divine feminine. You have on one side the word inevitability, and on one side ferocity. Ready? Because we're going to kind of delve into a deep issue, okay? As we get older, and as we realize that we are getting older, thank you for the jellyfish, bitchy mom. I love that one. I love me some jellyfish. Only in artwork though, like real jellyfish. I like them behind glass. Like I've seen some real ones in real life, in real time. Not about that life. Not about that life. But here's the thing, Miss Nancy. As we get older, this realization hits us a couple of times. And the older we get, the more this realization hits. When you hit about 30, you start to realize Okay, I am an adult now. Like, I am considered an adult now. When you hit 40, you realize, you start to realize how close you are to 50. 50 is half a century. One of the things that I hated that my grandma did to me when I turned 25 is she said, "Oh, you are a quarter of a century years old." And I went, "The fuck you say?" 25 sounds great. A quarter of a century, no ma'am. 50 sounds great. Half a century, no ma'am. But we start to realize as we get older that we are running out of time, that we aren't going to be here forever. And the older we get, the more we realize that we're not going to be here forever. We switch from that 20, teenager, 20, 30 aspect of, I have such a long life left, like I'm super young and blah, blah, blah. We switch from that mode to, oh my God, I'm running out of time. We start to feel the pendulum. We start to feel the clock tick. We start to feel all of those things that we need to hurry and get done. So we start to really be ferocious with our path and our life, and everybody handles it in a different way. But here's the problem, Miss Nancy. This also causes some shadow work within us as why is it that you're feeling so ferocious in this inevitability? Thank you, bitchy mom. Why is it you feel so ferocious with what you've thrown yourself into? Okay? Thank you for the little smooch. Some people throw themselves into work. Some people throw themselves into travel. Some people throw themselves into collecting things. Some people throw themselves into taking care of their kids, their grandkids, whatever, to the point that they forget to take care of themselves. People throw themselves into all kinds of things when they hit this realization that they're getting older. So what is it that you have thrown yourself into, Nancy? And seriously, like, be honest with yourself. If you were someone outside looking in, what would you say? Like, hey, this is disproportionate. Like, you need to take time for you. And then you'll see why that ferocity is as ferocious as it needed to be with you throwing yourself into it. I know that did not make sense the way it came out of my face, but I hope you understood what I was saying. Hope you understood what I was saying. But let's look at these. Ready? You are so welcome, Miss Norma. Healing energy. This tells me a lot about this aspect of you getting older and throwing yourself into something. As we get older, we realize how much of our own energy we gave away when we were younger. We realize how we're about to fight this fucking thing in its face. And we realize that we've got to heal our own energy before we can do anything else. The other one is this: karmic justice. This is an interesting one to pull, especially for this reading, because whatever it is that is the root of you throwing yourself into whatever you've thrown yourself into, work or family or kids or family, or, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you have thrown yourself into, it's a karmic thing that you have to overcome in this life, whether it is setting that boundary, whether it is throwing yourself into whatever it is. So I'd really look at what this inevitable aspect is so you can see where this karmic tie lies. Thank you, Miss Bitchy Mom. That's a lot, Nancy Pooh. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Thank you for the little corgi booty. That little corgi thing makes me want a fucking corgi, and I like corgis, but I don't need a corgi. Thank you for all of the hearts, Miss Luna. Miss Julie O, you ready? I think Sass is paused. I can totally make fun of her because I just can. She's my friend, so I totally can. All right. Ready, Julie? Y'all know it's funny. Y'all know it's funny. She didn't sleep very good last night, so I can't make fun of her too much. But I'm still gonna. But yeah, she didn't sleep good last night. I had weird dreams last night. In fact, I had weird dreams the last few nights, but that is, part of me is like, that's the norm. And the other part of me is like glad, because for a while I wasn't dreaming at all. I don't like that, but yeah. Oh, good, Victoria. I'm so glad. All right. Ready, Miss Julie? Start off with the Golden Empress, which is magnetism and confidence, but this one right here can also be very overbearing. And then you have the Poet of Avalon, which is fame and pride and stagnation. So let's chat a little bit here, Miss Julie Booley, because these two cards together have one underlying theme. And please don't shoot the messenger, because it just is what it is. But this energy is kind of when we get too big for our own britches, when either we get a little bit of fame, or when we get a little bit of notoriety, or when we get a little bit of somebody has put us up on a pedestal in some way, shape, or form. It happens to everybody at some point. When you get somebody that worships the ground you walk on, you start to feel like maybe everybody else should worship the ground you walk on too. Most of the time we're good at yanking our own self back, like, okay, bitch, stop, like, stop, just that is not who you are, stop it. But every now and then, we've all seen celebrities spiral with this. So here's the problem with these two. This one here, this is a great card to have, especially when you're yawning all the time. It's a great card to have because it's all about magnetism and confidence, but you can be overconfident. You can end up being overbearing with it. The other aspect of this Poet of Avalon card is the stagnation. A lot of times when we get, I don't want to keep saying put on a pedestal, because I don't feel like that's the exact thing. When we get to a point where we feel like we're above people, or we're above someone else, like especially that noise right there, we start to feel stagnant because we feel like we're stuck on that pedestal. Oh, Lord. Oh my gosh. It made me do that thing 3 times. It made me do the stupid little thing 3 times. I could understand if I was sitting here asleep. I could understand if I wasn't doing shit. But what the fuck? 3 nights in a row now? 3 nights in a row. Just saying. Miss Julie, when we get ourselves on a pedestal, we start to feel stagnant because we can't see how to get off the pedestal. We can't see how to go up any further or get down off the pedestal. So we get stuck and we get stagnant. So the one thing I'm going to say about this in particular is be really careful of getting, thank you, Hannah. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks, Paige. I'm not glad to hear it, but I am glad to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad to hear I'm not alone, but at the same time, that's dumb. That's dumb. Like, there are people that literally sleep on their life, or there used to be. I don't know if there's still people that sleep on their life. It's dumb. It's dumb. I'm obviously talking and obviously doing things. So, explain, talk tick. So here's the thing, Miss Julie. Something has got you to where you feel that you are on a pedestal, whether it is a self-inflicted pedestal or someone has put you on a pedestal. And now you are feeling a little stagnant. You're feeling stuck. You know what I mean? You hold the key to your own cage. Every single one of you. You hold the key to your own locks. You hold the key to the stairs to get you off the pedestal or up on the pedestal. Do you see what I'm saying? I want you guys to remember that, okay? Anytime you feel stuck, you hold the key to being unstuck. You, nobody else, you. You hold the key. It may take you a little bit to actually unlock the lock because you're really in there, but you are the one that holds the key. You're the one. If you feel like you're shackled, if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you're in a cage, you are the one that holds the key to that. I have been in a couple of very hard relationships, hard marriages where I did feel like I was stuck. It took me a while to realize that I held the key to that I could leave. I wasn't stuck. It took me a bit to actually be able to save up the money to leave, to things like that. But I held the key to that. I was the one keeping me in that relationship. I was the one staying. You guys hold the key to getting out of any issue, any bonds that you have created. Okay? Ready for this one, Miss Julie? Or these two? This is the Blessed Day. This card, when it pops up, especially in the shadow work readings like this, it tells me that you're not having these. You're having those days where you feel like everything is going wrong, you don't know why, things aren't going the way they should go, etc., etc. So this right here is the reason why you need to figure out who, what, when, where, why got you on the pedestal, okay? The second one is this one, and this is intuition. So that tells me you've been having some issues with your intuition. A lot of times whenever we get ourselves stuck, we feel like our intuition gets stuck as well. By getting ourselves off that pedestal, I promise your intuition will open back up, probably to a painful level. All right. Let me see who's next on my list here. Let me look, because someone said that, oh, why are you being the way that you are being? Okay. Here we go. This is so weird. It's saying that it's sold out, but it's not showing me all the tickets. So I don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out here in a little bit. I'm so sorry, Julie, honey. See, I don't like that. That makes me sad. We all go through that, so please don't feel all by yourself. Okay? All right. Miss Jill McCoy, you ready? We all go through those days where we feel like nothing's going right. We all go through those days where we look around and we're like, this sucks. Like, what the fuck? This sucks. I don't want to be here anymore. We all go through those days, okay? I promise. Oh, I will, Kimberly. Don't think I won't. I kind of can't wait to get home just so I can relax with some little tiny puppy dogs. You can't make this shit up. All right. Here we go, Miss Jill. You start off with Arthur, which is self-realization, nobility, compassion. And then you have the ageless, which is wisdom and knowledge and instruction. Thank you, Gavin. So here's the interesting thing about this. Shadow work doesn't just come with bad things. Shadow work doesn't just come with aspects of ourselves that we feel like are only hidden in the shadows. Shadow work can actually come when we start to gain a lot of wisdom about ourselves. When we start to get that self-realization, and when we start to get this wisdom and we start to really open our eyes and see a lot of things, it's almost like you get to a point where all of this pops up and you start to replay everything in your life of, oh my God, I did this. Oh my God, I said this. Oh my God, I wore this. Oh my God. We start to go through those things. And I think it's funny because I'm staring at this card. On my new deck, 3 cards pulled up, okay? One of them flipped right over. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. And that is the Rebirth card. We all go through this phase where things are going good. And we're learning a lot about the world, about ourselves, about our path, about everything. And suddenly we go, oh my God. And we sit there and we start to replay all of these things in our past that happened. And we start to get these mini panic attacks because it's like we freak out because we said this or did this or wore that or went here or talked to, whatever it is. When you go through a rebirth in life, and you'll go through a lot of them, you come to those moments. You can't go back and change the past. You can't. You did it. You said it. You wore it. You went there. You talked about whatever it was, okay? It's part of being human. We all have stuff in our past that probably wasn't the greatest. There's a lot of us that we are so thankful that we grew up before video cameras, it's not even funny. There are some of us that are like, I don't know how I'm still here because I did so much stupid shit. It doesn't diminish you. It doesn't diminish that. It doesn't diminish anything about you, who you are, where you're going. It doesn't diminish any of that because it was something that doesn't seem as cool now as it did when you were 18. It is who you are. It's who you are. You can't continue to stress about those things. Ready? Because that rebirth card popped up, flipped up on its own. It tells me that you're going through a really intense thing. It tells me that you're looking at some of those things either with regret or with some weird aspect to where you really don't know how to feel about it. I know that everybody has something they wish they could have done different. Call it a regret if you want. And then, well, okay, not everybody. We get to a point where some of us get to a point where we realize that the things we experienced when we were younger, the stupid shit we did or didn't do, if any of that had changed, any of it, you wouldn't be where you are right now. Good or bad. You wouldn't be where you are right now. You have to look at it that way. Okay? Just because I am no longer married to, I've been married twice, just because I'm no longer married to either one of those people, and just because I had horrible divorces, things like that, it doesn't mean that I would go back and change a single moment of it. And it's not just because, you know, if I didn't marry this person or this person, I wouldn't have my kids. That is a huge part of it. But I wouldn't change a single moment of any of it because it allowed me to be who I am right now. If I went back and changed that, I wouldn't be this person right here. I wouldn't be this right now. Maybe I'd be something better. Maybe I'd be something worse. Maybe I'd be stuck in a rut as a fucking soccer mom. Probably that. Don't stress about the past that you can't change. Okay? It is what it is. Was what it was. And it will be what it will be. Okay? Here's why we're working on this. I love that this is the leadership card because leadership always comes from experience. And overcoming fear. Those two are completely self-explanatory right there. Completely self-explanatory, Miss Jill. Y'all, don't send anybody money that comes in and wants to give their Cash App. Just saying what I'm saying. That was an account with very few followers. So in other words, a brand new troll account. Please don't give anybody money, okay? Here's why. If you give somebody money that comes on here that is inbox me for your accurate reading, or the I really need $5, whatever, don't do that. Chances are that person is a scammer. You could lose your Cash App for that, okay? If they lock that person's Cash App, if they lock that person's PayPal, you could lose your stuff over it. So, don't do that. Don't do that. If you are going to get a reading from somebody, please, please make sure that they actually have a verified Cash App, etc. Okay? Just saying what I'm saying. All right, Miss Rhonda Adams, are you ready? You are so welcome, Green Gypsy Honey. Ah! All right. I am fighting this thing right in his face. Right in his face. Make sure that they have a verified website. That too. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, if you're considering getting a reading from somebody on here, because don't think I haven't noticed the slew of readers that have popped up. Just make sure you can verify who they are, okay? Myself included. Don't just blindly get a reading from me because everybody says they are, whatever. Don't do that, okay? Check me out as well. You should never just blindly get a read from somebody. Speaking of that, before I do Miss Rhonda's read, y'all know I have a thing for squishies. Yeah. I found the best, worst one yet. You ready? And it's a little fat, chubby alligator with googly eyes. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. It's a little fat chub. I needed it. The googly eyes make it the best thing ever. I just wanted to share it with you. And it doesn't sit flat either. It sits like that. Like it's a little chub. And I love it. You're welcome. You're welcome for that. So he'll have to live in the shop. All right, Miss Rhonda. Save me from myself. Okay, ready? Here we go. Abraham, which is truth and justice and duty. And the Leper King, which is bravery and self-resilience and faith. All right, so this is the pot calling the kettle black here, Miss Rhonda. I'm just saying what I'm saying, okay? You are overworking yourself out of a sense of duty, out of a sense of pride, out of a sense of this is just what I do. This is, okay? Now, let me say this. There's a fine line between doing stuff for your family out of duty and pride and love and completely fucking everybody off. Completely fucking everybody off. Case in point, we saw two young ladies walking down Bourbon Street with a young kid. This kid couldn't have been 5, 6. And the whole time the kid's like, Mom, I'm really thirsty. Mom, I'm really thirsty. They were ignoring him. But yet one would wait outside while the other would go in and get a shot and a drink or whatever, and then come outside, the other one would go in. So they were out there absolutely getting smashed with this kid. That's I'm just saying what I'm saying. There's a fine line between that and doing every single thing, every single moment of every single day for family or someone you love. You have to have time for you, Miss Rhonda, because if you don't have time for you, there is no way you can continue to do any of this. None. Zero. Zilch. You will hit the wall and you will get sat on your butt and you won't be able to get out. One of the things that sucks, and I'm going to talk to you ladies for just a little bit here. One of the things that sucks, and I don't care what culture you come from. I don't care if you're Asian, if you're British, if you're from Chile, if you're from Iowa. I don't care. One of the things that has always been put on the mother, on the woman in the family, is that they are the caretaker. Now that comes with its own set of rules, but they are the one that everyone expects to take care of everything. You take care of the kids, you take care of the house, you take care of the dishes, of the laundry, of the bills, of the everything. Everything. To the point that you have no time for you. If you take time for you, you are selfish. But at the same time, you're told that you need to take some time for you. And maybe on Mother's Day or your birthday, you get an hour to yourself to go take a hot bubble bath. No one takes care of you. You take care of you. There's a really deep-seated, fucked up aspect to that. I'm going to tell you why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but you can't get water from an empty bucket. If that bucket is empty, if there's not even a drop of water in the bucket, how are you going to water the plants? You have to go refill the bucket. And if you're never allowed to refill the bucket, how are you supposed to water the plants? Now, what I love about society today is that is starting to change. There are a lot of people, significant others, kids, etc., that see what the mom is going through and helps to make that not as much in some way, shape, or form. Both of my kids are utterly fantastic in that way. I could not ask for better kids. But I see it too often, where you do too much. The problem also becomes this. You get used to doing too much. And when you get used to doing too much, you don't know how to relax. If you do something for 2 weeks, every single day for 2 weeks, it becomes a habit. If you do something for a year, it becomes ingrained. And it is almost impossible to change until you're ready to change. So think of it as an addictive behavior. When you are doing too much and you are the one that's helping everyone doing everything, this is where that old adage of, I'll just do it myself, comes in. Every single one of you that is a mom has said that at some point today. I'll just do it myself. Because it's easier to do it yourself. It's easier to do it yourself because you've always done it. So why would you take the time to explain all of this, show somebody, etc.? You just do it yourself, it's done. So you take on way too much. So, Miss Rhonda, what I would say is this. You need to start making a habit of relaxation. Making a habit of letting go. It becomes a control aspect. It becomes a control aspect. Controlling letting go is the way to get around that. This is my time. I'm going to let go. I'm going to do this, etc. Okay? You're going to have to force yourself or make it a chore that you have to take care of. You are the only one that can do this relaxation. You see what I'm saying? That's how you're going to have to look at it. Trust me, I understand. I struggle with this on a daily basis. I really don't know how to relax. I don't. I have a problem. I cannot completely turn things off and relax and let go. So I absolutely understand where you are. I saw a couple of you guys asking about time frames and stuff like that. So they've done tons of different studies. The most recent one is that it takes 2 weeks of doing something every single day to make a habit. So yeah, but I know that there are a ton of different studies out there. So let's look at these of why that is a thing that you need to work on. You ready? This is literally the blessed day card. I love it. The blessed day card. Meaning all of those amazing good days are a little more tainted or are tainted because you can't let go and relax. Karmic justice. So that tells me that this is something karmically you have to learn to overcome, which then tells me that you were kind of like this as a kid too. You were the mom as as the kid too, you took care of everybody else. You probably were the friend that made sure everyone got home safe. You were the friend that made sure, you were the one that reached out to everybody. You were the one that kept the friend group together. That was you. So this is a karmic thing that you have to overcome, of being able to let go and let someone else handle it. You and I are so much alike, Rhonda. It's not even funny. I am the same way because I always wanted to make sure I knew I was getting home. It's a control thing. I couldn't just be like, woo, and whatever. So I get it. I absolutely get it. But on the other side of the same coin, you get to the point where you can't relax. You can't let go. So I absolutely 100% get it, Ms. Rhonda. It is a karmic thing that you have to overcome. But I did see that you said that your husband wasn't like that, and I think that is wonderful, and he's probably the exact one that is going to help you overcome a lot of that. And what's even funnier is it's probably things that you already knew and either you just needed confirmation on, or I don't know, like I said, blame it on me. Just be like, hey, my spiritual advisor said that I got to have a break, hands off, right? I'm just saying what I'm saying. This is a terrible camera angle, by the way. I'm just saying what I'm saying. So this heater in this hotel room works fantastically well. And it's older. Can you see it right there? It's just a knob. Like this is, I think, a newer hotel. I mean, it should be a newer hotel. It's a really, really nice hotel. But that's a knob and there's no numbers on it. And it just says like this way for cooler or this way for hotter. And so when we walked in here, it was cold as fuck. So we turned it up. So then we had to go down. We got something to eat. We came back up here. We were both dying. It's like, okay, trying to figure out where it is in the middle. Oh my God. It's going to be a long night. But the good thing is this. So the hotel we were in New Orleans, not only did they have problems with the phones and the internet multiple days, we also had no heat in our room for like a couple of days. Like actually right at 24 hours. They brought us up a heater, like a space heater, which was great. And I'm really thankful for that, but that sucked. That really sucked. Especially with, yeah. Oh, no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Anytime I see readings by someone come in, there's no profile photo. They follow 3 people and they have 0 followers. No. No, no. Scammer City, no. All right, Miss Amber, you ready? I have Amber K. So you start off with the Thinker, which is knowledge and reinvention and instruction. And then you have Abaddon, which is malice and pestilence and corruption. And then you have the Mother of Dawn, which is beauty and compassion and agency. Notice the colors in all of these? So let's talk about this, because as far as shadow work goes, by the way, Sass talks in her sleep. She also snores just a little bit. She also doesn't feel good, so I can't make fun of her too much. Anyway, so here's the thing about these cards. Not only do you overthink everything, but it frustrates the fuck out of you, and then you overcompensate by doing way too much for other people. So every single time an issue pops up, you overthink it. You'll overthink it to the point that I would bet you end up playing 90 scenarios in your head. And then you pick the worst of that scenario and you get irritated and angry about it. And then when it turns out it had nothing to do with that scenario, you overcompensate. So it is a really, really vicious cycle that you get in with this. The one thing I'm going to say about this, Amber, is this is a lot to do to yourself. This is a crazy amount to do to yourself. Okay? I know a lot of people get in this cycle because either they had very like emotionally or mentally abusive parents or even physically abusive parents, but they had to learn to anticipate every single scenario so they could try to be ready for anything that could happen. This right here is a hallmark of CPTSD. I'm going to say this. Even though there's a lot of shadow work to unpack with this, and yawns, I'm going to recommend that go on Amazon, okay? There are a lot of amazing CPTSD workbooks on there. They are basically shadow work, but they're designed by therapists that work with people with CPTSD. So for those of you guys that don't know what CPTSD is, PTSD comes from one event, okay? So to be honest, and I'll tell you why I know about this. To be honest, the vast majority of war veterans have CPTSD, not PTSD. So PTSD is one event, like a car accident, one event. CPTSD is an event over and over and over and over and over. So if you were in, say, a physically abusive relationship, you got used to that over and over and over and over. So you have CPTSD. So if you have a veteran that was in a war zone, that was in multiple conflicts, or was in a very active place, CPTSD, because same over and over and over. You see what I'm saying? The only reason I know about this is because I was married to a combat veteran. I had to dive down the rabbit hole for a very long time trying to figure out how I could help, because the VA doesn't do shit. And they basically tell the spouses that you are the first line of defense, so basically handle it. So there's a difference, okay? So for those of you guys that have been in relationships, in any kind of abusive situations, etc., that is CPTSD. It's continued post-traumatic stress. So I would totally recommend going on Amazon and looking up CPTSD workbooks, okay? There are so many fantastic ones on there. Read the reviews, okay? Don't just do the ones that have like, great book. You know what I mean? Like obvious, someone paid you $5 to write that, or $1, whatever. Look at the reviews, okay? But that's where I would start with this, Miss Amber, because CPTSD is so much to unpack. And this is a crazy cycle of overthinking, getting angry, then overcompensating. You know what I mean? So it ends up where eventually you are going to be the one that is perpetuating the cycle. And I know that is not a thing that you're ever going to want to do. For any of you guys that has ever been in an abusive relationship of any type, I highly recommend going and grabbing you one of these workbooks on Amazon. Grab a couple of them if you want. They will help you psychologically work through some of these things. Now, I also do highly recommend finding yourself someone to speak to, a good therapist that is well-versed in CPTSD. I am a fan of therapy because it absolutely can help you, okay? You do need the right therapist though, because sometimes you end up giving therapy to the therapist and that's not, no. But Miss Amber, I would recommend getting you one of those notebooks because this is a lot. Like this is a lot, okay? Don't let that sit there and fester because it's going to continue to cause problems, okay? I'm just saying what I'm saying, okay? So let's look at these. This is why. You ready? Navigation. Navigating through all of the rest of the important things in your path and in your life, you want to make sure that you are working through that CPTSD, okay? Nature Lover is correct, 100%. Find a trauma specialized therapist if you can, especially if you've been in an abusive relationship. The next one is this. Well, that's the fucking success card. I mean, that's self-explanatory. Of course. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying what I'm saying. All right, Miss Jean Marie, you ready? Hey, chicken. I'm going to drop half the cards. Hold on. Hey, William. Hey, Sylvie. Yeah, I'm going to have to try to, I looked once. I'm going to have to try to do it again to carry the Mausolea deck in my shop because I have had this deck for a while and I absolutely love it. That is way too many. I just need, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Ready, Miss Jean Marie? And I saw that somebody asked about when I will do these again. Whenever I get home, I'll get to work on my schedule. I'm not traveling anywhere currently until the end of April. I'll be in Colorado for a few days. And then in June, I will be up. I'll have to look, but I think it's Pennsylvania. Hold on. I can tell you exactly where I'll be. Well, not exactly, but like I can tell you. Because, yeah. Yeah, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So I'll be coming out to Pennsylvania in June and things like that. So yes. Hey, Rose, will you please message the site so we can get you your tracking number? If you guys have shipping questions, please message the site, okay? Because I can't help you whenever I'm on here and Sass is asleep. But we didn't bring our laptops or computers in. So yeah, please message the site, okay? All right, Miss Jean Marie, you ready? So you start off with Danu, which is necessity and ferocity and creation. And then you have the Red Shepherd, which is just reward, evaluation, and respite. Okay. So here's the thing. This is one of two things, and I'm looking at which one this is. Actually, I'm going to draw a third card because I've read for you a lot here lately, and I really don't think it's the first thing. Because you just don't strike me as that kind of person. The Golden Empress. Oh, okay. All right. This is magnetism and confidence. Woo! This is a lot. This is a lot of power. The reason that I think it's interesting that I pulled out that card. Sometimes we flip into a self-empowering era. I almost said villain era, but it's not. We get into this self-empowering era where we are setting boundaries right and left. And we get to the point where we are setting too many boundaries. And so when you set too many boundaries, it suddenly becomes a problem, because then nobody can understand where the boundaries are, because the boundaries shift too much. So it's like being in a house where all of the rooms are constantly changing. So you never ever can find the hallway to get out, to get to the living room, to get to the kitchen. You can't ever find your way. Now, let me pause and say this. I'm always proud when someone starts to set boundaries, because too many of us either had our boundaries stripped away, we were never taught how to set healthy boundaries, or there's some other underlying trauma that makes it to where we just can't keep our boundaries. We just can't keep our boundaries. So I'm really proud of you for starting to set boundaries. Be really careful about the boundaries that you are setting, because every one of these cards is a very intense, self-empowered card. So when you get to a point where you are in this ferocious, let's set some fucking boundaries mode, you can get to this other point where this just reward comes in with, oh, you know what? You sound like someone I don't like, so I'm going to set a boundary with you. You talk like someone that hurt me, so I'm going to set this boundary with you. You look like whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? We start to take out our boundaries on people that don't deserve it, because we have an interesting trauma back here. Like, here's my trauma. I've been married to 2 cancers, and now I apparently have a thing for cancers, and I have realized, no ma'am, that is not a thing. You don't need to have a thing for cancers. You aren't going to date any more cancers. I am sure that I have passed some amazing people because they were cancer. Because they were a cancer. We have all passed people, whether on a dating site or a friend said, oh my God, you'd like so-and-so or whatever. They have the same name as my ex. No. They look just like so-and-so. No. Do you see what I'm saying? So we start to set a boundary based on a preconceived notion of whatever that trauma was. So here's what I'm going to say about this. I would look and pay attention at when a boundary pops up and you're like, absolutely not, just instantly, absolutely not. What made you just say absolutely not? Just pause and think for a moment. Now, if it's obviously an abusive situation, yes, absolutely not. But if it's just because someone looks like or has a name like someone that has crossed that boundary, do you see what I'm saying? Like, start looking at the boundaries you're setting and why you're setting them instantly like that. Because you can get to a point where you're causing yourself more damage by not looking at what's causing that boundary to be instantaneous. Now, this is not the same thing as somebody with some funky fucking energy comes up and you just don't trust them. You know what I mean? Everybody else might love them, but in your gut, you're like, I see you. I see. I don't know what it is yet, but I see you. That's totally different, okay? I'm not saying completely shut that person off, but trust your gut. But when it comes to just, well, they have the same name as so-and-so or the same name as so-and-so. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely 100% trust your gut, Jean Marie. But with this, look at why those trauma boundaries are being triggered immediately. Okay? I think you're going to find there's a few reasons in there, and you can start unpacking them in that aspect. Okay? Ready for this? I love that this is the defense card. Like, you cannot make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Look at why those boundaries get triggered immediately, because it has to do with your own personal defenses. And I mean, I'm just saying what I'm saying. The other one is, willpower. Being able to set boundaries takes a lot of willpower, but it also takes knowing why you are setting those boundaries. If say you're dating and you're talking to someone new and they immediately start with that, well, not immediately, but maybe as you're talking to them, they start with that behavior of very overbearing speaking to you and so on, that's a no-go. You know what I mean? Things like that. You shut yourself down. So see, so this is all stuff you already knew, yeah? I'm just saying what I'm saying. Start working on those. Start working on those and find out, okay, why am I setting this boundary? Why am I setting this boundary? Every time a boundary is instantly triggered, just look at it and start to unpack it. When it comes to shadow work, guys, most people think shadow work is only, oh, well, I have this belief or that belief, or, my mom was abusive to me or my dad was abusive to me. They think it's only just one thing. But when it comes to shadow work, there is so much there that we don't even realize is shadow work. Why am I on it again? I don't know. Looking to see what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to go out and back in because it's telling me something different and it's pissing me off now. And I'm about to fight it right in its face. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Miss Kim Doyle, are you ready? Yes, my list is closed for this evening. Hey, Nix. Aw, you are so welcome, Jean Marie. I'm glad I could help in any way, shape, or form. Always a pleasure to read for you, sweetheart. Hey, Miss Kim, how are you? Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. It is a tangled mess and a half today. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to go take a hot shower and face plant. And then we got to get on the road early in the morning. All right. Ready? The Exile, strategy, failure, and trauma. The Leper King. This is self-discipline, faith, and the Golden Empress, which is potency, magnetism, and confidence. Interesting. I would say they probably go this way, yeah? But here's the thing, Miss Kim, because I have read for you a lot, because I know you a little bit, I find these very interesting. As far as shadow work goes with this, the reason that they drew like this is because I'm getting on. Because you're gaining this back. You are gaining your confidence. You're gaining your magnetism. You're gaining your poise back. However, you still have a lot of things that are, we're going to call it self-discipline, okay? We can force ourselves to do things. You know what I mean? We can force ourselves to do things. I'm tired. I have to work. I'm going to force myself to work, right? But we can also force ourselves past trauma without dealing with the trauma. So what that does is it pushes it down a little box, and we're like, you know what? I'm just going to stuff that over there in that little corner, and I'm not going to look at it again. But the problem is this exile right here, that forgotten box, is still back there. It's still back there. And I know y'all know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. There's always going to be that one little tiny random little kid feeling that finds that fucking box and opens it. You know, every time you have a house full of people or whatever, and there's one thing specifically that you really don't want anybody to find, someone's little kid is going to find it. Someone random is going to find it, and they're going to open it, and they're going to be like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But what I love about this and hate about this at the same time is that it tells me you have all these little boxes, right? You have all of these little boxes back there that, oh, sweetheart, thank you for pushing me up in the For You page. I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic evening. You have all these little boxes in there. So you have put everything in little tiny boxes. It's good in that you recognize, okay, that's a feel, and I need to deal with it. It's bad and that you've realized that's a feel and I need to deal with it, but I am not going to deal with it. I'm not going to deal with that. It just goes in the box. Like, trust me, I understand. I understand. The problem is when we have all of this self-discipline and we push past all of those feels, and then we have all of this confidence that gets built on that, that foundation isn't solid. That foundation isn't solid. You know what I mean? So you have to be really, really careful with this, because it's almost like building this beautiful, big, grand mansion on a cardboard box. Eventually, it's going to crush the box. So start taking some of those boxes out and unpacking them little by little. You don't have to unpack the entire box at once. You don't have to unpack except just a little tiny piece of it, you know? Pull this box out and be like, all right, this is the whole big feel about XYZ. But I am only going to deal with the top part of the X right now. Like, or the bottom part of the Z. Like, that's all I'm prepared to deal with is that last little line of the Z. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't have to unpack the entire fucking thing. There's a lot of people, and thankfully it hasn't come across my For You page in a hot minute, but I'm sure it will because I've been talking about it a lot lately. But there's a lot of people, there's a lot of apps, there's a lot of books, there's a lot of seminars and things like that of people that they have no fucking idea what they're doing when they're teaching shadow work, or they're trying to help you through shadow work. And they try to force you into all of this thing and do it all at once. Well, the problem is you can break somebody like that. If you were to go to therapy, do you really think that therapist is going to go, all right, let's talk about all this hard shit right the minute you walk in? No. No. Sometimes it takes years of therapy for you to get to the root of a really intense problem that is causing you the most shutdown in your life. There are too many people that are using shadow work, teaching it, helping with it, etc., as a way of abusing the person in front of them. I've seen it, I've heard it, and it makes me want to vomit. So please, please, please be careful with that. You cannot do shadow work every single fucking day. You will break yourself. You cannot deep dive down to the very big bottom of a box of feels You have to unpack it and clean that wound out, okay? Ready to see why? The answer is yes. Resilience. One of the main things this is going to show you, Miss Kim, is how resilient you actually are. I don't think that you give yourself enough credit. Okay? I mean, you can cry your eyes out every freaking day if you want, but why would you want to? Why would you want to? You didn't get that trauma overnight. You're not going to get rid of it overnight. You ever heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day? And this one is knowledge. Ms. Kim, I think when you go through and you unpack these and you see how resilient you are and you see all of the things that you have learned about you, that you have learned about everything, that's the other thing about shadow work, y'all. When you do it the correct way and you start going through and you start learning and you start seeing, you're going to understand so much about you. You're going to understand why you're on the path you're on. You're going to understand why you are the way you are. You're going to start to see how resilient and how amazing you are. You're going to start to see all of the knowledge that you've actually gained. And as you unpack all of these traumas in there and feel the feels and deal with them, you're going to gain even more knowledge about you and on your path. Does it mean that you're going to heal from every single trauma that was ever done to you? No, there's no guarantee of that. So please don't go into it thinking that. There's never a guarantee. You may take out that first tiny box and you may only make it through that much of that tiny box. And that's fine. I'm proud of you for any aspect you make it through. Okay? Don't push yourself to work through every single trauma that's ever happened to you. Just take the first step, okay? Just one little step at a time, okay? I'm just saying. All right? Miss Sarah Connors, are you ready? Are you okay? See, she was just paused. She was just paused. They said you were on full stop. I mean, I think you were on full stop. You should be on full stop. All right. Miss Sarah, you ready? She was deliberately on full stop, or definitely on full stop. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Kim. Well, like I said, she didn't sleep good last night. I don't really think either one of us slept good last night, to be honest. All right, Miss Sarah, you ready? The Red Shepherd, which is just, reward, evaluation, and respite. And then Nyx, which is secrets and vigilance and subterfuge. That's a lot. There's a lot, okay? First, this tells me that you have a problem letting people in. It tells me that you have a problem fully explaining anything to anyone. It also tells me that you have trust issues. It also tells me that you have up all of the spiky McSpikerson things around you so that if anybody even remotely thinks about one day possibly fucking around, they're going to find out right now. The other thing is this, Miss Sarah. I'm going to recommend unpacking the trust issues first. Those, I'm going to keep a secret. I'm not letting anybody in. No one needs to know who I am, etc. Because when you have a trauma aspect that's happened over and over, when you have multiple people that have betrayed your trust, when you have multiple people that have fucked you over repeatedly, you get to a point where you're like, you know what? No, I am not going to trust anybody. I'm not going to let anybody in. I will just do everything my fucking self. First of all, you can't do everything yourself. You do have to end up at some point asking for help for something. And it's better to have people that you trust to help you with that. The second thing is this: when you continually don't let people in and don't have anybody that you can trust, it gets extremely, extremely isolated and lonely. Some people are like, I don't mind isolation and loneliness. But everybody needs at least somebody to talk to as a friend. When we shut people out and we do everything behind closed doors, we do everything in secret, we don't allow anyone in. It's usually because we have gotten hurt so many times that we just can't. But the things we shut down end up shutting down parts of ourselves that we need. I'm going to give you kind of a little example, and I hope it helps, okay? And this is just from my personal experience. Since my TikTok has gotten big, since 2021, I've had 4 different people that have caused me to do this, to shut down. There's been a couple of times that I seriously thought, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I've thought about not doing it anymore. Like, just fuck it, let me do something else. But as soon as I thought about not doing it anymore, one of you guys has reached out to me about something or other that was like, oh, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I guarantee you that every time, and this is for every one of you, but especially for Sarah, I want you to look around. Every time you feel like shutting down, like giving up, like something, there is always someone or something around you that happens so you continue on the path that you're supposed to continue on. Now, sometimes we go, you know what? No, I am not doing it. Whether you're stubborn or whether you're just tired of it or you're just fed up or you just shut down and you just can't do it anymore. I absolutely 100% understand. But it's not fair to anyone else that is supposed to be in your path that your ripples need to touch later on. If, let's just say that you work, I don't know, let's just say you work in customer service. Let's just say you work at the dentist's office, okay? In the front office. And it gets so bad that you just can't do it anymore. So you decide you're not going to work that day. I need a mental health day. I'm not going to work. Well, you decide, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just not going back. I'm just not going back. Can't do it anymore. But there's one person that comes in, and you may not know this, but you are the only person that their kid will speak to in there. And maybe this kid really needs a lot of dental work. They need a lot of help, and they're terrified. But you are the only one they will speak to. You are the only one that they feel comfortable around. You don't know this. So because you didn't go to work, your ripples don't touch that kid ends up being terrified of the dentist, and it gets really, really bad as they get older. That's a small example, okay? But say that, you take a day off, or you put in your 2-week notice, and that kid comes in, and then you can at least say, hey, well, I put in my 2-week notice, I am moving somewhere else. Maybe that kid decides to go where you are. Y'all have no idea how much your ripples touch other people. You'll never know. You'll never see it. So when you shut down and you don't allow people in, and you stop doing things that you love to do, or you stop going places or working somewhere or whatever because of something that has made you shut down, it's not just you, it's anybody that your ripples were supposed to touch. It sounds like a huge responsibility, and it kind of is, but at the same time, it is your path. If you find that you're shutting yourself down a lot, that is my way of dealing with trauma. I know that it is. It's easier for me to just shut down and deal with it. But actually deal with it. You know what I mean? When something happens, I used to be that person that would instantly react. Like, the super Irish redhead in me was strong when I was younger, okay? Now, however, if it's something really deep, really hard, really bad, whatever, I will kind of shut down. I'm like, hey, let me process, let me think through everything, and then I will react. But I learned that I can't just shut down. I can't just shut down. It's not healthy to shut down. It's not healthy to shut people out either, okay? So, just saying, unpack why you shut down. And it may be different for every situation. It may be a little teeny tiny box like this. It may be a box the size of a king size bed. You know what I'm saying, Miss Sarah? But look at why you shut down. Why did that particular person, place, situation, thing, etc., why did that particular thing make you shut down? That way you're not pulling your own self off your path. Okay? That makes sense? And here's why. This is the grounding card. I love this card. I love that there's an anchor on it. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. By knowing why you shut down and unpacking what makes you want to shut down, it will help you ground. It will help you solidify who you are as a person. Aww. This is the Finding Love card. Sometimes love isn't just romantic love. It can be self-love as well. I'm just saying what I'm saying. All right. See who I've got left here. Miss Catherine Francis. You ready? You are welcome so much, sweetheart. I hope that helped. No. Thank you, thank you. I figured I needed a new pair of butterflies. These ones are green with the big, beautiful dots. Oh, we will share. We only have, we're halfway, so it's a 10-hour drive from Tulsa to New Orleans. And normally I do it all in one day, but that's also when I'm not going live every single night. Or every single day. So that's why we decided to wait a little bit. Plus, we got out of town a little late today because I had some things and some stuff to do. So yeah, had some things and some stuff to do. Just saying what I'm saying. All right. Ready, Miss Catherine? So you start off with Anubis, which is preservation and neutrality and obligation. But then you have Morgan Le Fay, which is growth and atonement and deceit. So I'm gonna yawn again. I knew it was coming. Do you like that? I just fan it. So here's the thing. That's a couple of really deep, intensive cards right there. Just this one alone, this is all growth and atonement. And this one here is all having to be neutral and obligated and taking care of all the things. So let's chat. Because what this tells me, Miss Catherine, is that the bulk of the shadow work that's bothering you right now are the things that you feel obligated to do. Not only do you feel obligated to do them, but you feel like if you don't do them, there's an atonement that is going to take place for you no longer doing the thing. You've taken on way, way, way too much, Miss Catherine. Now, sometimes we can't help it, and we have to take on that much. Like, we have to take on that much. For example, if you're a single mom, if you're a single dad, there's no one else to help you. You have to take all of it on. There isn't anyone else. But there's a lot of times that we take too much on because we want everybody to be happy. We want to please other people. We want to make sure that, you know, we're there as much as possible for our kids, you know, things like that. When we take too much on, and we all do it, every single one of us, we all do it at one point or another. When we take too much on, we burn ourselves out really, really quickly. Really, really quickly. And then we feel like we're going through a period of atonement because we didn't do what we were supposed to do. If you have taken on too much because you had no choice, such as being a single parent, that's growth. It's not atonement. There is no atonement if you fall down a little bit and you know what? It's cereal for fucking dinner, or it's fend for your own self for dinner. There's leftover in the fridge. There's no atonement. We all go through that as parents, even with another parent. If you're both sick, you're both exhausted, whatever, it's like, you know what? There is leftover in the fridge. Here's a frozen pizza I cooked. We're getting McDonald's, whatever it is. We've all been there. There's not an atonement for that. It is what it is. If you took on too much on purpose to either try to make sure that everybody was happy or something like that, like I said, you are the one that holds the key to all of those shackles. The things that you say yes to, you can also say no to. You can also say, hey, you know, I did offer to help, or I did offer to take this position or whatever, but after, you know, after I look at it a little bit and doing it for a little bit, it is too much, and I want to make sure that you guys have the person that can dedicate the right amount of time to this. One of the things that I personally, I'm going to share this with you, and I hope this helps. One of the things that I personally have had to start doing, and it's really, really hard for me, because when people, especially people that I know personally, you know, they reach out to me, they text me or whatever, or they want to hang out with me, or, and don't think that I shouldn't hang out with my friends more, because I really should. But I get in a problem, a mess, where I have too many text messages or phone calls at one time, and I think I answered someone back but I didn't, or I say, oh yes, I will absolutely go hang out, have coffee or dinner or whatever, and then I cancel last minute. I have had to start telling people, hey, I'm really overwhelmed this week, like my schedule is too much, and I want to make sure that I am 100% there when we hang out. When I go have dinner with girlfriends or whatever, I want to make sure I'm 100% there hanging out with them, not on my phone or stressed about this or worried, like I'm always going to be stressed about this or worried about this, but I want to make sure that I'm giving you 100% of my time. If you want to come hang out with me, or even if I want to come hang out with you, I'm coming to hang out with you, to hang out and have that moment to moment time with you. I had to start doing that because I personally needed to set that boundary for myself. But I found that it spilled over into a lot of other things too, and that now I know, like, I can look at my schedule and go, that is too much, bitch. That is too much. You can't do that. There's no way you can give all of that your undivided personal attention. There's just no way. You have to have a break. You have to have this. There's lunch. There's this. There's this. There's this. So start looking at things of what gets your undivided attention. Okay? It's not just boundaries with other people. It's boundaries with yourself. It's easy to take on too much, especially when you're a single parent. It's easy to take on too much just as a person in general. Okay? There's no atonement, because you can unchoose the things that you have chose. Okay? Does that make sense, Miss Catherine? You ready to see why? This is the Banish a Curse card. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And this one right here is the financial security girl. The Banish a Curse card, and then the financial security card. Set those boundaries with yourself. I mean, both. Set those boundaries with yourself. I mean, both. I so love that I was live this entire time. Live this entire time. And on my very last one is when it decided that it was going to make me switch from 5G to internet. I don't understand at all. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. That's okay. Miss Julie Tibbs, you are last, love. That was just, you gotta love it. No, it was the internet. It was the internet. It was the weirdest thing. Weirdest fucking thing. No, I didn't miss a puzzle piece. I've been on my 5G this entire time. And randomly, it was just like, by the way, now you got to get on the internet. What? Why? Why? Makes no fucking sense. All right. We ready, Julie? The caretaker of the lost. So this is assistance and memory and respite. And then the exile, which is strategy and failure and trauma. So this is a lot to unpack. So this first one right here is pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. The one that always takes care of everybody else. All the broken peoples come and sit right in your lap, and you feel the need to fix them. A lot of it has to do with this. Those of us that have gone through intensive trauma in our life, those of us that have had deep-seated, I don't want to say, I'm just going to say dark emotions. We're going to say it that way. Because when you have a lot of trauma, when you have a lot of perceived failures, when you have a lot of abuse, injustice, all of those things, when you have any of those things, any one of those things, much less multiple of those things, and I'm pretty sure that we all have had multiple of those things. We have those things piled up, and then we see other people that are going through those things, something similar or worse. We want to take care of them. We want to fix them. But the problem is they are just as broken as we are, were, will be, etc. And they can't accept that help yet. So it's like this vicious cycle. So then we end up either taking on some of their trauma, or they end up perpetuating our own trauma. So then we shut down and we sink back into this. So it's like this crazy vicious cycle of, okay, I am deep in my trauma right now, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to feel it. Oh, gee, hey, here is this person, and they've gone through something similar to what I've gone through. So let me see if I can help them or if I can fix them. And then they end up perpetuating that trauma. You see what it's like a seesaw. Like, it never is balanced. It's always one way or the other. It's a fucking seesaw. The only way to get off the seesaw is to stand up. Does it mean that the person on the other side is going to smack down to the ground? Yep. But you are not responsible for the person on the other side of the seesaw. You are responsible for you, and that's it. And that's it. You can only control how you feel. You can never control anyone else. You can never control someone else's emotions, someone else's feelings, someone else's reaction. The only thing you can control is you. And that's a shitty thing sometimes, especially when you see someone that's really hurting and all you want to do is help them. It's just like, I see this poor little kitty that's really hurt, and I just want to snuggle them, but that cat is going to tear my ass up if I love on it. But I'm still going to love on it. I'm going to get torn the fuck up, but I'm still going to love on the cat. Eventually we learn we can't love on the cat. At least not that cat. We might go love on that cat. You see what I'm saying? Like, we get in that round and round thing. What sucks the most is when this is a person that we love. And we all have a person in our life that is just not kind. They are not kind. They've never been kind to us. They never will be kind to us. So when there is a sliver of hope that we might have a relationship with them, we jump on it. Especially if it's someone that has rejected us our entire life and caused a lot of this trauma right here. We all do it. We all do it. Even if we don't go running, jumping to help that person, we all do it because we get that little glimmer of hope that maybe mom, dad, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, whoever it is, maybe we can get to the point where we can have a good relationship. But I want you to keep in mind the only person that you can control is you. It sucks to set those boundaries with people, especially people that we love. And it's hard to set those boundaries with people, especially people that have built their relationship with us on being an ass to us. The thing about this is stuff that can be internalized. Aw, thank you, Miss Martha. This is stuff that can be completely internalized. And we don't ever want to say anything to anybody because we don't want them to think that we have all of this going on behind the scenes. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. And this is not just for Julie. This is literally for everybody. Everyone has this. Everyone has this. Everyone has trauma. Everyone has failures. Everyone has strategies. Every single person wants to fix people around them. It's when we take that and we internalize it way too deep that it starts to fester and become an issue. So be careful that you don't allow this to fester too much. What I'm going to say is this. Julie needs to come first. Julie needs to come first. Julie has to come first. I'm proud of you because I've read for you for a while and I know that that's always been an issue. I'm really proud of you. Julie has to come first. Nobody else can come first right now. It has to be Julie. That way you can start unpacking some of those boxes. That way you can start moving through some of that trauma. And that way you can start to look at those perceived failures and see why that thing was not for you. Does that make sense? I saw somebody say that there was a lot of similar readings tonight, and you're right. Several cards, especially that Caretaker of the Lost card, has popped up a lot. I've been doing this for a long time, and I think it's really funny. You'll see the same card pop up repeatedly in certain readings. My friend Camille and I were speaking about this the other day because she did her first, not her first, but she's been a reader at Voodoo Authentica for 12 years. And it's usually just one person. When you read for a group, it's always funny how a card will continue to come up. I look at it like this. The people that are in the room right now, all of you guys that have gotten that caretaker of the lost card. This is the only time all of you guys will be in this same room at the same time with this same number of people. Maybe, even though Julie's my last one, and I'm not done with you, Julie, so don't you run off. Even though Julie's my last one, there's a reason that she's my last one. Maybe the people that really needed to hear what I'm saying to her just got off work. Maybe they just were able to sit down and get on. Maybe they've never seen me before and something popped up and here they are. Y'all never know how many people needed to hear your particular read. Y'all never know. Every single one of you makes more ripples than you'll ever know. Whether it's in my life or somebody else's life. Whether it's getting a read, whether it's you just giving somebody some a gift, or just saying how awesome they are, how much you love them. Y'all have no idea the ripples that you make and how far reaching they go. So even though Miss Julie is last, and even though apparently she needed that caretaker of the lost card too, y'all saw me shuffle. Somebody else needed to hear it too. So Julie is a ripple for however many people just came into the live. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying what I'm saying. Ready, Miss Julie? Because this is why the shadow work is important. When it comes to working through those things, I would advise a good, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about the CPTSD notebooks, workbooks. There are some fantastic ones on Amazon. Over the last 2 years, I have super been impressed with some of the CPTSD notebooks, workbooks, not notebooks, that have came out on Amazon. I've been really impressed with it. Really impressed. And if you just look them up, you'll find them. I would highly recommend one and start there, because when you have a really intense relationship, especially with somebody that is a caretaker, was supposed to be a caretaker for you, growing up, etc., that's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to unpack, okay? So Julie has to come first. Be easy with Julie, okay? Here's why. I mean, who doesn't want the good fortune card? Who doesn't want the good fortune card? I mean, I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Balanced oh my God. Like the two best cards. Balanced emotions and good fortune. Like, isn't that the point of shadow work, is balanced emotions? I'm just saying what I'm saying. I love that one with the jellyfish. And then with the beautiful Luna moth in it. The detail work in that card is just fantastic too. Just fantastic. Like, who doesn't want the fucking... I love doing shadow work reads. They're a little hard sometimes because it is hard to hear our own bullshit. Trust me, I know. I don't ever want to be called on my bullshit. So I know y'all don't want to be called on your bullshit either. You're welcome, Miss Julie, honey. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I know that you've been through a lot. So I'm proud of you. All right, guys. It is 11 o'clock. I'm going to get off of here. And I'm going to go take a nice hot shower. And I'm going to go face plant in the bed. And I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna drive. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow evening at 8:30 for Reiki and Zodiac. I'll be back in my own house with my little tiny dogs who I have missed tremendously, and my kids, and my bed, and all of my things. You know what I mean? All right. I love you guys. Wait till you see what I'm bringing home. Just saying what I'm saying. I will see you guys tomorrow.